Don't enter into life's arena unarmed. Let Parker show you how to make fear work for you. Even enjoy fear. What money says when it talks. The heartbeat of time. The vital importance of momentum. How to be the person you always wanted to be. And keeping your dreams alive. There is no man like this anywhere.
Is a joke.
There are tens of millions of them. The kids you don't hear much about. The kids who thought high school would be their ticket to a decent life.
They tell you that you can do whatever you want, and once you get out there, that whatever you want isn't always there.
I never thought I'd really be living at home still. I thought I'd pretty much be settled on my own.
They're angry.
You're almost brainwashed into believing it's your fault. You know what I mean? And you feel like garbage. You feel like you're a piece of dirt.
More and more, they're getting into trouble.
A vast majority come from working middle-class families.
They'll steal rims off of cars. They'll steal car stereos and stuff.
And if something isn't done,
It's going to fragment this nation.
The Brokaw Report. Tonight, the lost generation. Here is Tom Brokaw.
good evening. You know, in this country, we've always had reason to believe in the American dream. A good job, family, community. But now something has gone wrong with the American dream. It just isn't there for too many young people, especially those with only a high school education. That's the majority. For them, the American economy these days holds too little promise. Good jobs are disappearing, and there is no sign they'll be back anytime soon. And without a job, what happens to hope? And what about that promise that American kids will always live better than their parents? After all, that's what young people grow up expecting.
It's morning again in America. Today, more men and women will go to work than ever before in our country's history.
Today's graduates were school children when Ronald Reagan promised a future bright with opportunity.
Our job is to see that we turn over to you the same kind of country that our parents turned over to us, in which the sky is the limit.
It was the 80s. It seemed almost patriotic to be prosperous.
Flag sales are doing well, and America is doing well.
And America was flaunting it.
People had more money. They were able to spend a lot more money.
Everyday workers, people with only a high school education, were living the secure, good life.
I think you could start with a high school education and get a job where you could get with a company and work your way up the old American dream.
That's like part of the American dream, owning your own home.
My American dream is what I got. A house in the country and 2 kids.
As the kids grew, the economy grew.
Whether you could afford it or not, just spend. Credit cards, if you run out on the limit on one, get another one.
But behind all that money and glitter, the economy was beginning to unravel. And with it, the futures of our young.
There's something wrong with the world today. I don't know what it is.
The new generation of high school graduates walked out of the classroom into a recession.
As soon as I started getting out of high school, 2 years later, IBM starts laying off thousands of people. All the major businesses are laying off people.
Companies downsized. Good jobs moved overseas. Millions of union jobs were lost. The new so-called service jobs paid far less.
I swore to myself while I was in high school that I'd never, ever waitress. And I ended up waitressing.
I've worked at all kind of department stores.
I've done mall jobs. I've worked in a restaurant. I started working here just to make ends meet.
There's something wrong with the world today. I don't know what it is. Something's wrong with our eyes.
All of this at a time when the world should be theirs for the taking.
There's this attitude of defeat, I think, in my generation, a lot of it, because the opportunity wasn't there.
When you have your dreams and they just seem too hard to reach, you just give up dreaming.
Millions of young people are trying to find their way. And tonight, many of them will tell you why they are so frightened, why they feel so lost. And we'll show you the beginnings of what could be a way back. In a moment, the lost generation speaks out and reminds us that they are our future.
You want healthy, shiny?
When you have to live check to check, you think about your life day by day. I'm disappointed.
There's just no good paying jobs here anymore. Nothing that, you know,
I had
you
to pay rent, I couldn't pay bills, electric, water, couldn't buy myself food or anything like that.
And they can't have a child, you know, and I want grandbabies, but you can't afford to nowadays.
It's tough to find, you know, a decent job, you know, but it's tough to find a decent job anywhere, I guess.
I came home and it was about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and he usually didn't get home till 4 o'clock, and his truck was sitting out on the side of the house. And something inside just told me they laid him off. And I came in, and he was sitting on the couch, and he had his...
Rob Barger, decorated Marine, high school graduate, hard worker. Only 25 and laid off for the 4th time since leaving the service. Michelle Barger was 8 months pregnant.
He just sat there, and he just looked at me and said, "What are we going to do?"
After you decide to start a family, it's a little late to decide you don't want one because you can't afford it after your wife's pregnant.
Hi, baby. Come here. Oh, good girl.
This looks like the perfect portrait of an American family. Yeah, a young father, mother, and a baby. But is it the perfect portrait in your judgment?
As far as the family goes, yes. You know, I love my wife. I love my daughter. My wife loves me. My daughter loves me. You know, we all love each other. The only problem is, you know, we're stuck in a rut here. We're just going round and round the same thing. You know, you start to move up in the world, and then you're gone.
Out of work, Rob went on unemployment. And for the first time in his life, he applied for food stamps.
It feels degrading when you have to go in there and say, look, you know, I need some food. I don't have any food, or I'm not going to have any food next week. You know, it's pretty degrading. It's sad.
Rob found work after 6 months. He was grateful for the paycheck, but shocked at the wage, just $6 an hour. 3 years ago, doing the same work, he was making $9. And that's not happening just in Norwood, Ohio. In the last 10 years across America, young men like Rob have lost a quarter of their income.
We had money. You know, we could go out to dinner. We had insurance for the baby. You know, we had all the things that we needed to start our family.
Not anymore. Neither Rob nor Michelle have health insurance. The baby, named Heaven, qualifies for government insurance because of Rob's low income. Michelle, when you look at Heaven, do you think that her life is going to be better than yours?
I want it to be. You know, it's hard to think that it won't be.
But you know you have a ways to go. Does it make you worry?
Yeah.
Like many young people today, Rob and Michelle have it worse than their parents. My parents, when they bought their house, they were 28. I'm 25 now. I really don't see myself, if things keep going this way they're going now, I don't see myself having a house when I'm 28.
What's he doing, huh?
Rob's father made a modest living as a woodworker, but it was enough to buy a home and support his family. He's now glad to help his son when he can, but he's angry.
He was making $9 an hour. Somebody comes in and does it for $6, so they take somebody to do it for $6. And it's their future we're throwing away, not mine.
Got a little overtime in this week and got paid today, so we'll go ahead and splurge a little bit.
Hitting a bucket of balls at the driving range is a rare treat for Rob these days. Vacations, movies, babysitters, they're out of the question. Fun is limited to walks with the family, playing softball, or coaching with his father and brother.
I don't think that I really deserve what's happened to us. You're almost brainwashed into believing it's your fault. You know what I mean? And you feel like garbage. You feel like you're a piece of dirt. You can't do anything, you know?
Everybody thinks they've got it harder than the generation before them, and I honestly do believe that we do now, because everything's just different.
The difference, according to Andrea Martinez, is the lack of quality jobs.
If you're daring enough to have a girlfriend, get married, and have a kid, and try to survive on a high school education, I say good luck.
Martinez runs a jobs program at Norwood High School.
For a high school kid to find a job paying $7.50 an hour, that's a rare find. You've got a lot of adults would want that job. You got a lot of college kids that'll take that job.
For most of the years following World War II, America was humming with good-paying manufacturing jobs that were available to high school graduates. In fact, here in Norwood, they like to say that they had more of those kinds of jobs per square mile than any other place in America. So for high school graduates from this area, the prospects were excellent. And the city of Norwood thrived with a fat tax base and big budgets that gave residents good schools and lots of services. At the heart of it all was the General Motors plant. But it shut down in 1987, and it sent the town reeling. Ron Rankin was there for 30 years.
You could go to about any factory and get pretty good money. I hired right in GM out of high school and started making good money right off the bat. I stayed with them till I retired.
For Ron, building cars was more than just a job.
This is one of the bricks that came from the General Motors plant. I went out and picked up half a dozen of them, and I gave them to some of the guys that were retiring, and I've got a few of them left.
It looks pretty clean.
Ron's son Scott worked summers at GM. He had hoped to sign on full-time.
They closed it down, and kind of everybody was like, huh? Oh, man. And they closed it down, and I was like, well, I guess we're going to have to look somewhere else.
Scott found a job at a label manufacturer. He's been there for 4 years. He's making $8.60 an hour. At GM, he would have been making almost twice that. Scott's wife, Lori, works as a telemarketer.
To do it on one income, it would be impossible. How you want these eggs?
2 cars and household bills eat up both paychecks. For Scott and Lori, like many young couples today, thoughts of the future, thoughts of a family, are on hold.
Kids are very expensive. We need to get rid of some of the bills that we have right now before we add another one that doesn't go away. Some salt, pepper.
Scott and Lori have a tenant, Lori's brother. He needs a room. They need help with a mortgage. They bought the house with help from Scott's parents.
They'll do anything we want for us, but I'm 25 years old. You shouldn't have to ask your parents. I mean, you have to grow up sometime. You shouldn't always have to be there. Your parents shouldn't always have to be there.
You hear, I can't wait till I graduate. I can't wait till I'm out of my mom's house. I want to move out now. You know, I can make it on my own. And then they come back and they say, I wish I could go home. I hate this. I hate that. I can't pay this. I can't do that. I can't do this. They're disillusioned.
They're disillusioned because of the kinds of jobs that are now available in this area. This is where General Motors stood for 63 years. It offered high-paying, quality jobs, but now this is an area filled with fast food stores and movie theaters, telemarketers. There are jobs, but there are fewer of them at much lower pay.
2 for 1 for 4.
Jobs here for high school graduates start at about $4.50 to $6.50 an hour. Many without benefits, many part-time, no real future. There still are factories in Norwood that pay well, like the U.S. Playing Card Company. But even here, salaries have come down. Downsizing has been severe.
I've looked pretty extensive for full-time jobs, dropping resumes at basically all the industries around here. And none of them seem to be hiring, not even accepting applications, just resumes.
No job hunting for Dave Lewis today. He attended a college graduation in the morning and his best friend's wedding in the afternoon. At both events, his thoughts turned to jobs.
If I did have a good full-time job and stuff, I would definitely ask her to marry me. Yeah. I mean, if I got a job today, I'd probably ask her tomorrow.
That's his girlfriend, Dana. He's been dating her for 3 years.
We already kind of had plans to settle down with each other, but, before we do so, I'd like to be financially secure before I do that.
Kevin Patrick Arnold.
And that brings us back to the graduation. It's not his graduation or his college. Dave's a security guard, an unpaid security guard. He donates his time to the Xavier University Police, hoping to get a foot in the door.
I'm volunteering my time to do this, and that should really tell someone how much I want to be involved in law enforcement field.
Dave did go to college for 3 years, but he dropped out because of lack of money and to pursue his new dream of becoming a cop. He says he has something in common with today's graduates.
They went to college, I think, to better themselves, and I think I'm doing this also in a step to better myself.
Okay, you ready?
Dave's only income now comes from a part-time job at the YMCA and a summer job at a local pool. He took the test to become a Norwood cop and he scored high, but the city isn't hiring. So this fall, Dave is going to pay his own way through a police academy, hoping there will be a job for him somewhere. Meanwhile, he manages like so many in his generation.
I still live with my parents and pay no rent, no bills. When you're making $6 an hour at a part-time job, there's not much you can do about that. And my parents understand. You know, at 22 years old, I never thought I'd really be living at home still. I thought I'd pretty much be settled on my own. But, you know, things, as you get older, as I got older, they got harder.
Coming up, those young people who say it's just too hard.
If you're lucky, you might get some work behind the counter, doing a sales job, working in a restaurant. They treat you like crap, and if you don't like it, then go rob the house. It's kind of day by day on how I think the future looks. I kind of get down every once in a while and get mad. A lot of the people I knew got into taking car stereos, shoplifting, sometimes robbing a house.
Across the country, the lack of good jobs, the diminished opportunities are creating angry, alienated young people. A growing number reject society's values and find their own way to survive. In Seattle, the music scene attracts them. Their disillusionment is expressed in deafening, hostile music.
We're totally displeased with the way things are right now in the world.
24-year-old Matt Shaw spends his free time with friends, drinking beer, playing out his frustrations as a guitarist for a Seattle grunge band called Slappy White. Grunge just about says it all. The look, the sound, the attitude describes the way these young people feel.
A high school diploma is a joke, unless you want to work at Jack in the Box or McDonald's.
More than a musical expression, grunge is a lifestyle. Used clothing, hanging out, working off and on in menial jobs. Matt was a Navy medic for 5 years. He thought the GI Bill would put him through college. He's angry it didn't pay off.
$10,000 does not get you too far in college.
Now Matt works nights in a hospital supply room and takes courses at a community college.
CS is Matt, can I help you?
Like many others, he struggles to deal with the reality that life is not turning out as he planned.
I can totally remember lying in bed when I was in grade school, and I thought, okay, God, just get good through grade school, cruise through junior high, rough it through high school, get into college, go to college, get a job, get married, no problem. End of story. That was my plan. Didn't work out that way.
Matt is coping, but others, overwhelmed by their frustration, are just giving up.
I don't really relate, and I don't really want to relate sometimes.
21-year-old Mark Simpson is an artist and a fan of grunge. He's angry and he has given up on almost everything.
For me, the frustration is just knowing that there's a lot of things out there that may never be changed, that you want to change. We see that the American dream doesn't really work for us.
Mark says he has found what does work for him and hundreds of Seattle young people.
Like with me, it's Jesus Christ. You believe in him, then you'll be saved, and you don't have to worry about what's going to happen later on in life.
Religion is attracting an increasing number of young people who are turning to God for answers. Mark takes his religion home with his friends. The The music, the mood, the message are clear. He finds shelter from a dismal life in his daily prayer.
Today's young people that don't have religion as a way of turning to and looking for answers, I believe that those people are lost.
For some it's music, for some it's the Lord, but others express anger in another way and get into trouble, real trouble.
Can I have an application, please?
Sure.
In Tucson, Arizona, the only jobs the 20-year-old Justin Burdick can get are part-time, low-paying, and dead-end.
I worked at one shoe store. That job got real tiring, and they weren't giving me enough hours, so I quit there.
After graduating from high school, Justin worked at 4 different grocery stores, making less than $5 an hour. Well, he watched some of his friends making money another way.
They'll steal rims off of cars, and they'll steal car stereos and stuff. They steal it, and then they sell it.
While his parents were out of town, Justin went over the edge.
There was a car that had left their window down, and their wallet was there. And my friend took the wallet and looked through it to see if there was any money, and he found the credit card.
Justin went on a shopping spree. He charged $2,000 at grocery stores and gas stations across town.
They would be ringing it up, the cashier, and I just took the credit card and I slid it through the little slot and I pushed credit.
He filled his parents' refrigerator at home and then went back for more, for his sister.
My brother-in-law was unemployed at that time, and they needed some food, so I took them a lot of food.
But food and gasoline were not all that Justin wanted.
I went into Walmart to buy a car stereo for my truck, and that's when they caught me.
What we're really talking about is subcultures that have been disenfranchised. They did not have...
Kevin Gilmartin, police psychologist for the Pima County Sheriff's Department, says Justin's case is typical.
We see people, young men, young boys, not transitioning into adulthood because they don't have that stabilizing influence of a steady career-long job that has the potential of a stable future for them.
Some of the crimes that we frequently see are fraud, stolen credit cards, bad check writers, some burglars. That may sound
it's called scamming, making up the difference between what you earn and what you want. Mary Aviles, who works for the Pima County DA, sees these young scammers every day.
I'm seeing young white males predominantly between the ages of 18 and 24 to 25 years old that I would say 10 years ago we wouldn't have seen.
In Pima County, the crime rate for these young adults is climbing.
The vast majority come from working middle-class families. They feel they can't pay their rent. They can't buy food. They can't buy clothing that they're accustomed to having.
Justin could have been sentenced to 14 years in prison. Instead of jail, he paid for the stolen items and did community service. For other scammers, drugs run their lives and destroy their futures.
Some of the young people tell me that they abuse the drugs and the alcohol because that's a way of making them forget that they can't have everything.
I guess once you start doing drugs, your values can change pretty fast.
This case involves 15 residential burglaries.
We'd go in, take what we wanted.
And the dollar amounts were estimated at well over $30,000.
19-year-old Lee Bolai and 3 other friends got hold of master keys from the apartment complex where one friend worked. Pima County Detective L.T. Pratt broke the case.
They hit a total of 6 units here over a 2-day period.
I did it mostly to keep my supplies up, to get marijuana, to get cigarettes, alcohol, spending money.
Spending money for the things he thought he was entitled to, that he couldn't afford.
I was more into material possessions. I kind of wanted to be there in a material sense, have nice things.
A lot of kids like Lee grow up in troubled homes. They don't see much of a future.
I think it started even in elementary school and junior high school and early years in high school when children start looking at the impact economically on their parents, on the loss of opportunities of their mothers and fathers.
When Lee thought about life after high school, the picture looked even darker.
When the jobs aren't there, you just either lose your dreams or you get mad. There's not much you can get. If you're lucky, you might get some work behind the counter, doing a sales job, working in a restaurant. They treat you like crap, and if you don't like it, then go rob the house.
Lee was recently sentenced to 4 years in the state prison. But 20-year-old John Garland, a classmate who burglarized the houses with Lee, he's already serving 7 years. Arizona prison policy does not allow inmates to talk on camera.
We'd sit around, a bunch of us, talking about, what we saw in the future, and, all the conversations usually led to a dead end.
John was just 3 months from graduating from high school when he was arrested for the string of burglaries. John and the others were quick to give up on hard work, to turn to crime for easy money. But they do have a warning.
If the younger generations can't look down the road and see where they're going or see anything that they want to go after, then I think it's obvious that they're going to turn to crime, the underworld, drugs, violence, suicide. If they're going to be alienated, they're going to alienate society right back. And they're not only going to alienate it, they're going to try to destroy it.
Who taught you how to shave your legs?
You knew that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You all felt that way.
We were just the other ones.
The Brokaw Report will continue.
The standard diploma has outlived its usefulness.
High school doesn't prepare you for nothing.
If your parents would sit down with their kids, they would want to learn.
It's too old, it's antiquated, and it's out of date.
It's a high-stakes game.
To survive in today's economy, education is more important than ever. But what kind of education? Most high schools concentrate on preparing young people for college. After all, that's the American dream. But what about those kids who want to go directly from high school to work? Their preparation is abysmal. Who's to blame? Just about everyone. The community, their parents, the schools, even the kids themselves. It's the beginning of May. Senior Chris Holcomb and Rockdale County High School's class of '93 don't have long to stay.
I'm kind of scared of what life is going to throw me.
Chris Holcomb is smart enough to be nervous about his future. Like half the class in the suburban Atlanta school, Chris didn't take college prep courses. His so-called standard diploma didn't require him to learn much of anything useful in today's world.
High school doesn't teach us what we need to know.
Y'all get your calculators.
Many of the 155 seniors who aren't going to college made that decision when they were naive freshmen. It allowed them to ignore meaningful academics. They could take an unfocused hodgepodge of elective classes.
How many minutes for sweet potatoes?
Ranging from food preparation to traditional shop courses.
You'll have something solid for it to sit on?
Classes kids hope will offer some technical training are understaffed and poorly equipped.
Our equipment's outdated.
Because until now, like most schools in America, the priority at this school has been to prepare kids for college.
You can pull that one out without taking that.
Auto mechanics teacher Don Wilburn says his students are learning on equipment purchased in 1972. Some key machines are beyond repair.
It's kind of useless to teach him something that's antiquated and let him go into the real world and find out that's not what it really is.
They're really not well prepared for the tech schools either.
Rockdale High has people like Peggy Cooper, a guidance counselor. They're not afraid to criticize their own system. They know there has to be a better way.
I think those of us in education have just figured out what the problem is. And then they're, getting the funds for it.
But do you think that the communities and the parents and the systems are ready to make that commitment now?
I think that varies with what community you're talking about. I think that ours is waking up, but it's been very, very slow. Because if parents really realized, then we'd have more bond referendums and more ways of getting funds to make these changes. And it's going to cost for us to make these changes.
But the winds of change don't serve the class of 93.
Did you all feel a little bit like second-class citizens because the school system was geared toward those who were determined to go to college and knew that?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You all felt that way.
Yeah. We're just the ones that aren't going to, make anything in themselves.
We were just the other ones.
It's the unconscious pressures.
Despite at least some aptitude and ability, many students acquire no real job skills, not even the most important basic skill, how to learn.
Ready for your quiz?
Not real.
Some, like senior Colin Hale, admit they don't even try to excel.
If I pass that class, I don't care if I make a C or a B in it, as long as I achieve that goal to pass that class.
What's up?
Just days before her finals, Christy Hudgens is worried she may fail a class.
Bye.
And fail to get even a standard diploma.
And yes, I've goofed off in high school. I'm not going to lie to you or whatever, but it's just because I guess I just want to get out of here and go into the real world.
A world for which she seems unprepared.
Cosine squared x is 1 plus cosine 2x over 2.
Rockdale County High's excellent reputation is only measured by the achievement of kids headed for college.
Factor out sine 2x.
These calculus students lead a senior class which has won more than $1 million in college scholarships.
Well, thanks.
Community groups recognize their hard work.
Not succeeding in life.
But those other kids?
And y'all enjoy your meal, and your server will be with y'all in just a few minutes.
Nearly all work hard at part-time jobs. They'd have to pay their own way if they ever wanted more training. But schools can't seem to inspire kids like Colin Hale. He'd rather work a grueling 11-hour overnight shift at minimum wage than study.
For homework, I can relax because if I don't understand a problem, I can skip it. But at work, you can't do that.
And they said, you just can't do that to us because
Christy Hudgens, unfocused and unmotivated in school, is upbeat and conscientious at work, and she gets just $5 an hour. But as they leave Rockdale County High, Colin, Christy, and Chris can do no better than keep the same jobs that provided only spending money while they were in school. Somehow, you sense that deep down, they're capable of so much more.
He made excellent grades in kindergarten, and I thought, well, he's going to really go a long ways. And he got in there and started socializing, and he'd rather socialize than he had do his schoolwork. So.
I'm glad to have him out of school. He can go to work now.
These loving parents hope for the best, but they are unsure about the future of their good kids.
I had some tears.
Christy barely passed her finals. Still, there is brave but maybe unrealistic talk about college.
I've just never been the type of person that is a book type person, but I like helping people, and I figured if I like helping people and things don't gross me out or whatever, I think that, I would enjoy, the medical field.
We need to do more guidance and counseling and aptitude testing and educating the students in the end of the 8th grade, early 9th grade about what the world of work is like.
Jack Becker, vice president of Lithonia Lighting, one of the largest local employers, says many teenagers just don't get the connection between study and success.
We have a lot more applications than we need.
They don't realize a standard high school diploma is only worth $5.50 an hour to start here on the production line. Down the hall, a technical school grad makes $12 to $14 an hour.
The chip will say, Rodney.
Upstairs, a college engineering degree is worth $25 an hour.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until recently that all of us, and that includes industry, began to realize that the modern workplace demands a lot more than what is being taught in high school these days.
20 years ago, we would have said, drive in the parking lot, leave your brain in the car, come in, punch the clock, we'll tell you what to do. Today we're saying bring your brain with you. You need to know how to think, solve problems, work as a team, take responsibility, some applied physics, some applied statistics.
Now, businessmen like Jack Becker are beginning to push schools to teach relevant skills.
Our long-term goals and objectives.
Becker won a seat on the local school board. It wasn't easy, but the board, along with school administrators, found the courage and the money to adopt an experimental high-tech curriculum for students who aren't going to college. So, beginning next fall, if they're not going to college, Students like Chris and Christy and Colin will no longer be allowed to take the easy way out. Tougher math, science, and English courses will be mandatory.
You with me?
So will meaningful vocational training. But too late for the class of 93. Their night has arrived.
Like an eagle, I will soar above the clouds. I will spread my wings and fly into the sky.
They share a pride in their accomplishments in their school, yet there is an unspoken divide. Good luck, sir. Half the class will head for college this fall, with years to grow and learn. The others, with only a standard diploma, face their world tomorrow morning.
Nervous, man.
Next, an old idea brings new hope.
I'm happy, I'm thrilled. It's the best time of my life.
Hi. How are you? I'm learning. I have a goal.
I would like to be the best that I could be and keep on going to school.
These students are getting turned on to their future.
Give you courage in a world of compromise. Yes, I would.
The way I was 2 years ago was I didn't care about anything, partied, didn't do the schoolwork, didn't care.
In a couple of years, she's sort of grown up overnight.
And I'd help you cross the bridge.
I wasn't really motivated when I came here. I didn't talk or nothing. Now they can't shut me up.
Scott Reynolds and Susan Colarusso. 2 years ago, they were going nowhere. Now at 18, they have a future.
What do you think? Is this...
Thanks to a program called ProTech, Boston's Private Industry Council has linked 3 high schools to Boston's flourishing healthcare industry. The result? An old idea with a new twist. Apprenticeships. ProTech Director Lois Ann Porter.
So for us, youth apprenticeship really captures the real world in both an academic setting and in a workplace setting.
I don't know how that happened.
This is early intervention. High school juniors and seniors thrust into jobs that turn into careers.
If you can notice, these are all within the child. And
Here's how it works. A science teacher, an English teacher, and a curriculum writer visiting the pediatric unit of New England Medical Center. They study the work and the machines, from CAT scans to pediatrics. Then they design a school curriculum with real-life application.
And then that would be able to go back to the classroom and incorporate exactly what is needed, what is workable.
What do you think? Is this a particularly different situation? I mean,
So teachers like John Diodato can make science relevant to these kids in school and at work.
we're trying to mix and match the knowledge aspect with the reality.
That's what Scott Reynolds does every afternoon after classes at Massachusetts General Hospital.
Once you take the X-ray once, that's it.
Scott works and learns in the radiology department.
So you could have your X-ray taken here and have someone read them in another state.
That's right, in another country.
What's learned here seems to help in school.
My grades. That's the one thing that's really improved is my grades in school. My mother says that to me all the time.
Scott was never motivated. I used to call him a couch potato until this last year. Until he's in this program, and it's done wonders for him. My husband never graduated from high school. He works at City Hospital. It's not a skilled job.
I went to as far as the 7th grade. That's why I feel so happy that what he's done, it's something that's going to be a career for him. So it's a future.
No, what do you mean?
Susan Colarusso never got called a couch potato. Her friends, Melinda Matthews and Leah Perry, remember their first impression in 8th grade.
But she looked mean. I really didn't speak to her because I was scared of her.
So I thought she was going to be a dropout. What if I just drop out of high school now? Where am I going to go? Live with my mother for the rest of my life? I want my own place, my own job.
This is her job now, doing lab work at Deaconess Hospital.
Oh, I love it here.
Susan, like the more than 100 students in ProTech, earns $6 an hour. She'll work full-time through the summer until she starts a college-level program in medical laboratory work.
Don't worry about it. You'll find something.
That work may well be paving the way towards Susan's future.
He likes you, but he knows that you're nothing but trouble.
And there is the instant reward.
I think we should do this more often.
A paycheck now.
I'm getting them.
1, 2, 1 more is 3. Here we go. You want to flow? Join with me. Wave your hands in the air from side to side and chill.
And once you get that paycheck, it feels good.
He said this is the phase 1 part.
This ProTech program is beginning to attract attention. Labor Secretary Robert Reich touring New England Medical Center. The Labor Department has kicked in $1.5 million since 1990.
What do they need as far as their skills for chemistry?
Almost an old-fashioned apprenticeship.
Yes, it is.
Tony Dunn is apprenticing in the operating room.
How does it compare to the old way of learning in colleges?
It is, like you said, it's much more exciting, and I get hands-on experience.
So it really is the connection between what you see at the work and also the school.
They are excited by the classroom. A lot of these kids would have dropped out had they not actually had the work experience that goes with the classroom experience.
Why have we been so slow in this society and this great industrial economy to respond to those kinds of needs? Do you think the educational institutions and the employers in America are now beginning to understand the real need for a synergy, a real relationship?
Business is beginning to step up to the bat. Educators are beginning to collaborate with business. Remember, for years, there were two camps. They didn't talk to each other. Just beginning now, we're seeing a real collaboration, which is essential.
What will you tell President Clinton about this program?
Oh, after today, I'm more resolved than ever that the youth apprenticeship programs that we're developing are moving in the right direction.
In fact, schools around the country just now are beginning to experiment with the idea of improving education and then combining that with training for real jobs.
Do you want both of those answers?
Yeah. Louisville. Fairdale High School. It's eliminated the general education diploma. It no longer separates college-bound kids from the others.
We eliminated courses that were not rigorous.
Fairdale's principal, Marilyn Holman.
Consumer math, general math, I call them math for the living dead.
Instead, a blending of the academic with the practical. That means classes that combine social studies with law enforcement.
And let's say they came upon a crime scene. They'd see the symbols, but they'd also know the mentality behind what's going on here. So everything's interconnected.
Fire science, hands-on training.
8,612.
Applied physics.
Oh, good.
Applied biology. All designed to prepare kids for the workplace without demanding a college degree.
There are a lot of good jobs for people with technical school background who have knowledge and skills and who know how to use data.
These experiments are popping up all over the country. In Oregon, high school students are selecting career paths from business to health services to government. In Tulsa, kids from 9 schools apprenticing in metalworking in firms like American Airlines. Seminole County, Florida, 40 apprenticeships in telecommunications at Siemens Stromberg Carlson. But are these efforts enough? Today's kids face unprecedented obstacles. Apprenticeship programs alone can't overcome them. Economic development specialist Joel Kotkin.
You have technological innovation. You have productivity increases. You have the baby boom generation. And you have competition from overseas. All of these are eroding the opportunities that exist for the current generation of young people.
That erosion is visible everywhere, and it's leaving invisible scars.
We Americans have not experienced the kind of anxiety we are now experiencing about the future. We don't want and should not have a two-tiered economy in which simply the college grads are on an upward escalator and everybody else is on a downward escalator. That's what we have been creating in this country, and we can't afford it. It's going to fragment this nation.
But no such thoughts for Scott Reynolds now.
Well, this is what I want to do. It's interesting. It's something different every day.
Just thinking.
And Susan Colarusso knows what she'll never go back to.
I used to think, geez, what am I going to be here for the rest of my life bagging people's food?
Susan Colarusso.
Well, when I graduate from college, I plan to pursue a career in the medical field.
The ProTech kids celebrated graduation in Boston Harbor. It's not a farewell. They will continue their hospital work as they continue their studies. But now they're better prepared for life's journey. They're eager to get on with it.
I'm getting trained now for the future. This is what we're going to be doing 10 years from now.
I'm happy, I'm thrilled. It's the best time of my life. Never thought it would come.
It's here. For your brand new baby, a brand new
promise that kids will live better than their parents. Well, now that promise is running out, at least for the time being, and to get it back on track is a monumental challenge. It means really reforming American education so young people emerge with real skills. It means creating millions of new jobs in this era of automation and fierce competition from foreign economies. We're all at risk here, because if young people can't find jobs, if they lose faith, the fabric of America comes apart. And who then will pay for the benefits for older Americans, if not the young? Who will build for the next generation, if not the young? The challenge here is urgent.
It's a good company.
If Scott and Lori are to feel confident enough to start a family, if Dave Lewis can feel secure enough to marry his girlfriend, if Colin Hale is to do more with his life than stock grocery shelves, if Matt Shaw is to earn enough to afford college. It's already looking up for Rob and Michelle Barger. He's found a new job, a bit more pay, but with benefits, and the promise of advancement. There are no quick fixes for members of the lost generation, but they don't have to be lost forever. They can find their way again, but the passage will be difficult, and it will be successful only if we're all making the tough choices together. I'm Tom Brokaw. Good night for all of us at NBC News.
Like an eagle, I will fling upon the clouds. Like an eagle, I will fly.